Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of Nigerian probate law. We're breaking down who gets the grant of letters of administration in Lagos State. Basically, who gets to handle the property when someone passes away. Understanding this whole process is crucial, so buckle up because we're about to break down this legal maze. Alright, let's talk about who's first in line to get that grant of letters of administration. In Lagos State, the #1 contender, the reigning champ, is none other than the spouse of the deceased. Yes, husbands and wives, you're at the top of the legal food chain when it comes to inheritance. Now, this makes sense, right? You've built a life together, shared dreams. It's only fair that the surviving spouse gets first dibs on managing the estate. Okay, so what happens if there's no surviving spouse, or maybe they just really don't want to deal with all the legal paperwork? Well, fear not, because the children of the deceased are next in line. That's right, the next generation steps up to the plate. And it's not just the kids, oh no, if a child has passed away before the deceased, their children, the grandchildren, get a shot at the title. It's all about keeping it in the family, folks. Now, let's say hypothetically there's no spouse, no children, no grandchildren. Who's left to handle the estate? Well, in Lagos it goes straight to the parents of the deceased. It's like they always say, you can't choose your family, but you can inherit their property. So mom and dad, you're up. Dad, you're... Things start to get a little more complicated when we get to siblings. Because, as we all know, families can be a beautiful blended tapestry. So, in Lagos, full-blood siblings, those who share both parents with the deceased, get priority over half-blood siblings. And just like with the children, if a full-blood sibling has passed away, their children get to step in. It's all about keeping it in the slightly more complicated family. Now hold on a second, what about the half-blood siblings? Don't they get any love? Of course they do. In Lagos, if there are no full-blood siblings or their children in the picture, then the half-blood siblings and their kids get the inheritance. It's like being second in line at a buffet. You might not get the first pick, but you're still gonna eat. We've gone through the spouse, the kids, the parents, and the siblings. You'd think we'd be out of relatives by now, right? Wrong. If none of the above are available, the grandparents of the deceased get to step in. That's right, Grandma and Grandpa are back in the game. They might not be as young as they used to be, but they're still holding it down in the inheritance department. Chapter 7. We're getting to the outer edges of the family tree now, folks. But don't worry, there's still hope for inheritance. If there are no grandparents available, then the uncles and aunts of the deceased, specifically the full-blood ones, and their children get a chance to manage the estate. It's like a family reunion but with legal documents. Chapter 8. Now, things take an interesting turn. What happens if there are no family members left to claim the estate? Well, in Lagos, the creditors of the deceased get to throw their hats in the ring. That's right, if you owe money, even death won't stop them from collecting. It's a good reminder to always pay your debts, folks. Chapter 9. We've finally reached the end of the line, my friends. If, by some miracle, there are no spouses, children, parents, siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles, or even creditors to claim the estate, then the Administrator General of Lagos State steps in. They're like the ultimate backup plan, the designated driver of inheritance. They'll make sure the estate is handled properly and fairly, even if it means dealing with a whole lot of paperwork. The complete rundown of who gets the grant of letters of administration in Lagos State. It's a complex process, but hopefully, this video has shed some light on the hierarchy of inheritance. Remember, the court always tries to prioritize those closest to the deceased, starting with the spouse and children. But ultimately, the grant of letters of administration is at the discretion of the probate registry or high court. They'll consider all the factors and make a decision based on what's best for the estate. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more informative content.